Hello, this is an essential Canvas tutorial for winter 2024 quarter. My name is Paige Coleman, and I am Canvas faculty support with Learning Technologies and Spaces. We are part of the Office of the Vice Provost for Student Affairs. Before I begin, I'd like to preface this tutorial by saying if you have any questions at all during the tutorial or while you're designing and developing your course, please do not hesitate to submit a ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. I assure you your question or request will not be lost in a long ticket queue. We have a highly responsive team. There is also no question too big or too small. This is what we are here for. So please just submit a ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. Okay, let's jump in. To navigate to Canvas, simply type in canvas.stanford.edu into your URL. Canvas works best in Chrome or Firefox. Please avoid Safari if possible. Also, if this is your first time accessing Canvas, please leave additional time for you most likely will be prompted to web authenticate as well, or set that up if you have yet to do so. Once I enter canvas.stanford.edu, I'm immediately taken to my dashboard. Each Canvas card on the dashboard represents a course that you are enrolled in to teach, or that from the student perspective you're enrolled in to take as a student. We pull information from the registrar from Access. All courses are also unpublished by default. So if you don't see your course at the top, please scroll down and make sure you're viewing the unpublished course. If you still are unable to view your course, please contact your department administrator or the registrar's office. Before I delve into a course, I'd like to also mention global announcements that typically appear at the very top of your dashboard. Typically, they will appear under the Word dashboard and above published courses or unpublished courses. You may only have unpublished courses at this point in time. Mine have all been X'd out. However, we reserve this space for pertinent information, so I highly recommend when a global announcement appears, you take the time to read it. If it's accidentally been X'd out or closed out, all is not lost. I'm going to navigate to the global menu bar in red on the far left and click on Account. And here, if I scroll down, here are global announcements. And you may view current ones that maybe you just recently X'd out, and more recent global announcements as well. While I'm here, I'd like to review a few of these tools. I'm going to click on Profile. You have the ability to upload your own bio, your own contact information, include links. If you draw your attention to my cursor, I'm moving to the right side of the screen. Once I click on these three dots, I can edit the profile. Also, if you notice, when I place my cursor over my picture, a pencil icon appears, and I may upload my own picture or an avatar, some other type of icon. It's important to note here that students also have the same capabilities, and when they add their own picture or avatar, this is separate from their course ID photo on file with the registrar. I'm now going to navigate to Settings. If you draw your attention to the right side of the screen under Ways to Contact, I have my Stanford email address default as the way to contact. We highly recommend you utilize your Stanford email address as the default way to contact. If you do not, this could create a barrier to entry for particular tools within Canvas. For instance, Zoom and Collaborations, which is synced to your Stanford Gmail, your Stanford account. You may add other ways to contact, but you would denote default by highlighting the star. I'm now going to navigate back to this menu and choose Notifications. If you intend on communicating with your students through Canvas, I highly recommend you make them aware. That way they can drill down within their notification preferences and select their preferences for how they would like to receive notifications, the frequency with which they'd like to receive notifications for particular tools within Canvas. In the past, it was all courses or none at all, but now they can really drill down and do course by course. So for instance, I'm going to click on the bell for announcement, and these are the options available to me, and this remains consistent amongst all the tools within Canvas. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to navigate to my red global menu on my left and click on Dashboard. While on the dashboard, students will also, and teaching teams, have the ability to select how they would like to view content on the dashboard. If you follow my cursor, I'm clicking on these three dots next to View All Courses. I prefer card view. However, I've noticed that quite a few students prefer list view. So this is an option available to you as well, opposed to card view. I'm going to click on the three dots. I'm going to click back on card view. Even though I'm in card view, the to-do will still appear on the right side of the screen. Now, for the purpose of demoing this Essentials, I am going to click on my LTS Canvas Overview Session course card. I'm immediately taken to the syllabus view. This is the default view when a student or other teaching team members enter your course. However, please draw your attention to the right side of the screen under Course Status. This has recently been updated, and it just specifies that students can't access the course and notifications won't be sent when the course is unpublished. The absolute last thing that you should do when your course is student-facing ready and you've developed the content within your course is publish the course. And you can do so by clicking Publish Course. But if you noticed, I'm navigating back to my dashboard, there was also a Publish button on the course card itself. Again, that's the last thing that you should do is publish the course within its entirety. Now I'm immediately taken to the syllabus page. We highly recommend best practice. The first thing you should do within your Canvas course is upload your syllabus. Whether you have a Canvas course in addition to an external website, it's really crucial for all educators to utilize this syllabus tool within Canvas to share their syllabi or just their syllabus, as it provides easy access to course information for both prospective students and enrolled students. We conducted student interviews and student surveys, which told us much about the student experience in Canvas, and students communicated that they experienced frustration when the syllabi weren't in places that they expected, such as this particular syllabus tool in Canvas. Students wish that instructors use Canvas in a more consistent way for the student experience so that students can find course materials more easily, manage time for coursework, and even set up to-do lists. There is a caveat with the syllabus tool. When you add content to the syllabus tool, it is immediately available to the Stanford community at syllabus.stanford.edu. This is the one exception. For whenever content is added within announcements, assignments, discussions, files, the visibility is limited to those enrolled in the course only. So this is the one exception. As you can read within this box, if you aren't ready for your syllabus to be widely viewable to the Stanford community, you can click this link and learn how to restrict the visibility to lock it down even further. We've also added a Add Single File Only button, which makes it quicker and simpler to just upload your current quarter syllabus to this tool. However, I am going to highlight the workflow of clicking the edit pencil icon, which is the same as clicking this edit text links multiple files pencil icon as well. This RCE, this rich content editor box, will appear. This box also is consistent amongst all the other tools in Canvas. You can add links, images, media, documents. If I click on these three dots, I can expand the RCE menu. For the purpose of uploading my syllabus, I'm going to click on the caret icon for documents. Upload document is taken from my desktop, whereas course documents are all documents I've already placed in files. And I will highlight that next. I'm going to click Upload Document. I'm going to click on the rocket ship. There's a lot of clicking, so bear with me. I'm going to locate my Winter 2024 syllabus. As you can see, it's here. However, it has yet to fully upload. I must scroll down and select my usage rights. In order for anything to be viewable to students and publishable, you must select usage rights. I'm going to click Submit. A yellow toolbar will blink, signifying my syllabus has inserted itself into the RCE box. However, I must still scroll down and click Update Syllabus. And there is my syllabus. Again, this is a first best practice. The second best practice would be to upload all your quarter's worth of content into files. Why we suggest doing so is that it's much easier to build out assignments and discussions and quizzes and then maybe modules and pages if all your content already exists within files. I'm going to click Upload, but you can also drag and drop files into this box. I am going to locate a file, open. Now, if you notice here, a red exclamation mark appeared next to this file. Once I place my cursor on the exclamation point, again, says I must set usage rights in order to be visible and publishable. And you can see it's not published because this circle is grayed out with a line through it. So I'm going to click on the exclamation mark. I'm going to choose my usage rights. And I'm going to publish. Visibility for files by default is set to the course level. Again, if you have any questions regarding usage rights and visibility, please submit a ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. I can also create folders. With regards to naming conventions, we do not recommend utilizing dates. If you are going to utilize the same content or want to import content from a previous quarter's course into this current quarter's course, all those dates will also roll over and they will no longer apply. So you will just be creating a lot of extra work for yourself to have to manually go through and edit and adjust all those dates. I also recommend, while organizing files, I like to do this with my syllabus next to me. It just creates a seamless path for students. It's organized and consistent with your syllabus. So perhaps the naming convention could be weeks, unit, themes, project titles. I also have the ability to unpublish certain folders if I don't want them published, if I don't want them published yet. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, this is going to be a lot of work and a lot of clicking to set all my usage rights for every single file that I want to utilize this quarter. But there is a little hack here. I'm first going to upload some other documents before I show you the hack. Now, if you are on a Mac and you press Command A, and if you are on a PC, press Control A. And if you'll notice, everything highlighted in blue and a toolbar appeared at the top of the screen. This allows for bulk functionality. So you can delete according to bulk. You can manage usage rights according to bulk. Going to click on that. I'm going to select the usage rights, publish, and save. This will save you a lot of time. You can also move content around. You can download the items as a zip. You can manage access for a particular file or folder, whereas you can lock it down so it's not available from and until particular date and time. And you can also view and toggle from one file to another. Again, if you have any other questions regarding files, please submit a ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. I'd like to review two other tools, one being roster photos. This is a great tool to familiarize yourself with those in your class, those students and other teaching teams. This is only visible to the teaching teams. I'm going to highlight a more robust photo since this is my demo course. Now these faces are blurred out due to FERPA, but yours will be populated with the student's course ID photo cards on file with the registrar. Students have the ability to navigate to access and record their pronouns and name pronunciation, which we pull into Canvas. We pull into roster photos. So when you click on a student, you'll be able to listen to their name pronunciation and view their preferred pronouns if they went to access and they entered this information. When accessing roster photos, you may encounter an error message when utilizing Chrome, but just please clear your cache or utilize a different browser, but stick to Chrome or Firefox. It's also really helpful to print out the students' pictures and names to familiarize yourself more so with your class. And there is a print view option, but you'll only be able to print if name only or photo only is selected. As a failsafe, I also recommend downloading the roster the beginning of the course and right after the add drop period or right before. This will provide you with a CSV file, a list of students' names and email addresses. At any given time, there could be a lag of notification in Canvas, notification messages going out. You yourself will know if you deploy an announcement and then you don't receive a notification that the announcement deployed. There's most likely an issue going on with Canvas. And if it's an urgent announcement or a message you must convey immediately, as a failsafe, you'll have that CSV file with the students' names and email addresses just to serve as a backup. Now, the people tool is visible to students. You can hide this in the navigation menu. However, I recommend keeping it visible, especially if your course is going to employ a lot of group project collaborative-based work. However, only names, section, and roles are visible to the students. Okay, moving on. Let's say you want to import course content from a previous quarter into this particular quarter. You would start out by doing so in the current quarter's course shell. You would then scroll down to Settings. And if you draw your attention to the right side of the screen under Course Status, you will click on Import Course Content. For content type, I'm going to select on the caret next to Select One, click on Copy a Canvas Course, and then you're going to type in the previous quarter's course name. Please give this a second. It could take a few seconds to populate. You're going to select it. And then within content, instead of all content, please select the radio button for select specific content. And then you're going to scroll down and click import. Whenever you see an orange bar with an exclamation mark in it, or sometimes a blue bar, please take the time to read the content within that bar. Again, just like with global announcements, we reserve this space and we add these announcements for pertinent information only. I'm going to click on import. However, before the job is queued, I must then go through and select the content. So I'm going to click on select content. And then here's where I'll go through and select the content I'd like to import over. I'm going to scroll down, select content, click on select content, and then I can see the job has been queued. And all that content will be brought over. I'm now going to click on home. As I mentioned, the absolute last thing you should do is publish your course. I'm going to click on publish course. And the box will appear green opposed to red. At any given time, if you want to be able to view what students are viewing, there is a student view at the top right side of the screen with the glasses symbol. When you click on student view, this pink, lovely pink fuchsia border will appear. Just after you're working in student view, do not forget to leave student view at the bottom right of the screen prior continuing to work in your course. I'm now going to navigate to the global menu bar on the far left in red. I'm going to scroll all the way down and click help. And I have all these help options. There's one in particular I'd like to point out, request help from Stanford Canvas support. So you can submit a ticket directly from the page you're working on in your course or the issue that you may be encountering. I'm going to click request help from Stanford Canvas support. And please just take the time to fill out this description. This is the same as submitting a ticket to canvashelp.stanford.edu. canvashelp@stanford.edu. So when you fill out the subject description, just click submit ticket and it will be routed to our team. But there are other options here as well. Please take the time to read through them. I'd also like to mention our Stanford Go Canvas page. I highly recommend going to gocanvas.stanford.edu throughout the quarter and taking a look at this page. A lot of helpful information here. For instance, on the home page, there's first steps and tips. All of our Winter 2024 Canvas overview session information is here as well. I also include this essentials video as well as a longer overview tutorial, which I highly recommend that you take a listen to. When these are completed, I will be replacing the Fall 2023 with the Winter 2024. At the top, there's also an Instructors tab. There's a Students tab, and then also a News tab. So we frequently add important news, important updates throughout the quarter to this News tab within this site. So I highly recommend, again, coming back throughout the quarter and just taking a look. Again, this is just the essentials. I have about an hour-long overview tutorial where I go through creating announcements, discussions and assignments, modules, pages, collaborations. Please take a listen to that as well. I hope you have a lovely Winter 2024 quarter. If there's one thing I can leave you with, please just to get in touch with us, submit a ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. Thank you.